33, WHCF 88.5 FM and WHMX 105.7 FM. Produced by St. Croix Video Productions. Now, let's go courtside with commentators Wayne Frost and Tim Collins.
Good evening and welcome to Redberry Gymnasium, where the Bangor Rams are playing home to the Brewer Witches in a girls' Class A basketball matchup. I'm Tim Collins. Joining me tonight is Chris James. And Chris, these are two teams that are definitely not strangers to one another. These guys have played a lot of basketball, and it's kind of tricky because each team knows what to expect from the other one.
Yeah, tonight's definitely going to be a tune-up, probably not what we're going to see later. Both teams are kind of heading in different directions. Brewer, who's had a couple rough years now, 2-2 early on, and pretty optimistic.
Yeah, and it's a great story. The Witches, as you said, have struggled in the past. Off to a good start, 2-2. Tough losses at the hands of Hamden and Nokomis. Of course, Nokomis, not a slouch in Class A. Bangor's also lost to them. Bangor, on the other hand, 3 sophomores in the starting lineups. Both teams coming, again, as we said, in different directions. Bangor, a tough road loss, really didn't play very well up in Caribou. Got off to a good start in the game, was up 15-7, and then got outscored 17-2 in the second quarter. As happens on the road so many times, got in foul trouble, had a 3-point shot at the buzzer, lost the game in overtime. Hence, the Bangor Rams come into the game at 1-2. For the Brewer Witches, started off the year 0-2. Then they went out of class against Bucksport, took on John Babs, which they beat handily. We're up 40-9 at the halftime. So this game right here, going to be an interesting one. If you take a look and ask the two coaches, they will tell you that they really feel that in the Big East there's going to be 4 teams that emerge. Bangor, Brewer, Presque Isle, Hamden. One of the teams is going to step up. Is it going to be one of these two teams?
It'll be interesting to see. Bangor and Brewer are two teams that have different kind of rosters. Brewer, as we said, has been kind of building in transition, and they're going to depend on seniors and juniors. Like you mentioned, Bangor, 3 sophomores in the starting lineup, so 2 different made-up rosters.
It's going to be fun, and the way they're going to play the game going to be similar as well. Both teams will open up in the zone, try to force the teams to shoot it from outside. If that works out or doesn't work out, we'll see the man-to-man defense. It's going to be a great game. If you've seen these two teams match up in the recent years and it hasn't been as competitive as you like, don't turn the dial tonight. This one's going to be a good one. Bangor and Brewer coming up from Redberry Gymnasium. This is the Interscholastic Sports Network on WBGR. Redberry Gymnasium, Tim Collins, Chris James with you as we're getting ready for the start of this girls' Class A matchup between the Bangor Rams and the Brewer Witches. To recap, Brewer comes into the game 2-2, losses early in the year to Presque Isle and Hamden. The Hamden game, remember, they actually led at the half. We're still only down by a couple points going into the fourth quarter. Then the shooting went cold in the fourth quarter. They lost the game by 16. Wins on the season for Brewer come against Bucksport and then John Baps on Saturday. They won 59-22, and in that game, McAvoy had 18 points to lead the Brewer Witches. Bangor Rams come into the game 1-2, a game short on the schedule due to the tragedy in Old Town. That game was canceled, will be made up at a later date. They have losses on the year to Nokomis. They also lost to Caribou this week, and really a tough loss, 62-55. Alyssa Ogden had 18 points in the game, Aaron Porter with 10, and again in the second quarter, 17-2. They were outscored by Caribou and lost it, went into overtime on a downtown shot. And Chris, those are the ones that just kill you. Sometimes I ask myself, is it better to get blown out or is it worse to lose a heartbreaker like that? Those are tough to come back from. Mentally challenging games, and that's what the Bangor Rams have to try to deal with. Their lone win on the year is actually the common opponent between these two teams, Hamden. They beat the Broncos by 2 points, and again, as we talked about, Brewer lost by 16. Starting lineups being announced down on the floor. We'll go ahead and give those to you. Brewer Witches starting lineup tonight is going to be Ashley Adams, a junior, Amy Freeman, a junior, Rachel Wing, a senior, Carolyn McAvoy, a senior, Katie Harris, a junior.
A lot of experience there.
Yeah, a lot of experience there, and McAvoy, the one to keep your eyes on when the program was down, and now that the program's coming back up again. She has been the consistent scorer in the bunch. Also, Katie Harris, one to watch, transfer in from Lee Academy, or should I say not a transfer, but moved in, and is now playing for Brewer. Good 3-point shooter, but having a little trouble adjusting to the fast-paced defense that we see in Class A.
Class A definitely a lower scoring and a tougher defense.
Get out there on the perimeter, get a hand in the face. She was left open against John Baps, and Harris had a big game. So if they can get her open tonight, look for her to have fun against the zone. Bangor Rams, their starters, Alyssa Ogden, Aaron Porter, Laura Clark, Marissa McLeod, Caroline Weymouth, and again, 3 sophomores in that starting lineup. So the youth of the Bangor Rams and the experience of the Brewer Witches. Of course, it's experience in age only. This is the year finally where that team is beginning to have success. So really, both teams coming out here with youngsters for Bangor and then a group for the Brewer Witches that are just learning how to win basketball games. So many times you're just playing it. Now we're learning how to win some ball games. We'll be right back after this timeout on WBGR.
Bright stars through the perilous fight. All the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And we are ready to play basketball between the 1-2 Bangor Rams and the 2-2 Brewer Witches. Should be a very exciting ball game. Expecting both teams to press early, to start out in the zone and try to make the teams shoot from the outside to try to break these defenses. And then, of course, both coaches ready to go the man-to-man if necessary. But it's always great when you have the rivalry where the teams play year in and year out. You know exactly what to expect from the other team. It's always interesting to see which coach has got that little wrinkle in there late in the game to really affect the outcome. Brewer in their road black and orange. Bangor in their home white with maroon trim. Set to jump things up, Ashley Adams and Alyssa Ogden. Opening tip is going to be controlled by the Brewer Witches and Amy Freeman. Freeman will bring things down and kick it over to Rachel Wing to set up the offense. Looking to go inside. Nothing there right now. Lots of patience. Skip pass. Freeman will take the 3 over the zone. No good. And the rebound pulled down by the Bangor Rams. Laura Clark to bring it up. 30 seconds into the game, scoreless. Outlet pass to Alyssa Ogden. Too far. First turnover of the ball game. And here comes the full court press by the Rams. Amy Freeman to bring it up. Token pressure right now. Expecting the press to give a little problems. Not too bad. Trying to force it inside. Knocked away. Shot is fired up by Rachel Wing. No good. And again, the rebound by the Bangor Rams. One and done. Aaron Porter skip pass in front of the bench to Laura Clark. Clark looking to go inside. Lots of patience right now. Baseline steal by the Witches, and then the Rams steal it right back on an errant pass. Marissa McLeod with it, kicks it around to Clark. Around the perimeter, showing lots of patience. Going baseline with it, Caroline Weymouth. And we're going to have a blocking foul called against the Witches, and that's going to go against Amy Freeman, her first, team's first. 1:03 into the game, and we are scoreless from Redberry Gymnasium. Tim Collins and Chris James with you on WBGR. And another turnover on the inbounds pass. Third turnover already committed by the Rams. And it's not the shooting percentage that's off, it's the passing. So again, the Rams set up in the press.
A little bit of youth showing through early.
McAvoy over to Wing, kicks it up to Freeman. Nice ball movement inside. Shot put up by Ashley Adams, and we have our first bucket of the ball game, 2-0 Brewer.
That was some very nice passing down the side.
The Witches opening up in a 1-2-1-1 full court press. Outside 3 going to be taken and missed. Porter with the shot, rebound by the Witches, and they'll look to run. They've got the numbers, 3-on-2, make it 4-on-2. Nice ball movement. Freeman gives it off to Ashley Adams, who can't connect. And again, no second shot opportunities for the Witches.
Seem to be getting good opportunities and good passing.
Marissa McLeod with it around the perimeter again to Weymouth. Weymouth looking to go inside, nothing there, so she'll give it off to Porter. Nice swing pass to McLeod. Open 15-footer is good, and Bangor's on the board. We're tied at 2 minutes into the game. It is the way that you beat the zone. Good ball movement. Should be a good ball game tonight. Dead even. 3-on-2 for Brewer on good passing, and McAvoy from the left baseline gets her first bucket of the night. It's 4-2 Brewer on top.
Third time down the floor that Brewer's just shredding that defense.
Good ball movement. Porter kicks it up to Ogden, and Ogden gives it off to Laura Clark, who lays it up and in, and we're tied at 4 at 5:24 to go, first quarter. No problem with the press. Wing with it at the foul line. Looks to work it inside. Great hands on the steal by McLeod. McLeod looks to push. 3-on-3. She'll pull it out. Waits for the rest of the team to get down. Goes right side to Weymouth. Weymouth looking to work it inside. Both teams showing a lot of patience around the perimeter. McLeod goes left baseline, beats the defender, but can't get the layup to go. But there's Ogden for the putback. Her first points, and 3 Rams are in the scoring column. It's 6-4 Bangor. And a steal by the Rams, their first of the game. Driving in for the layup and missing is Weymouth. And the loose ball is finally tracked down by Bangor, but it's going to go off their feet and out of bounds. Good hustle by Laura Clark, getting in front of Katie Harris, but unable to contain the basketball. Midway through the first quarter, Red Berry Gymnasium. Bangor leads Brewer 6-4 in this girls' Class A matchup. Skip pass a little too high. Good hustle tracked down by the Witches in the corner. There's Harris, open 3. No good, and the weak side board pulled down by the Rams. What we talked about, Harris likes those wide open shots, but didn't connect there. Good ball movement by Bangor in transition, getting it inside to Laura Clark. She connects on the layup, and will go to the line to connect on the 3-point play. Clark with 4 points to lead Bangor, who's on top 8-4. In the ball game for the Rams, Rachel McCallion. Carolyn Weymouth will take a seat. 3-point play is good. Clark now with 5 points, 9-4 Bangor, their biggest lead of the game, on a 7-0 run. Lots of trapping, not much to show for it. McAvoy takes the long shot just inside the 3-point line and connects. She's got 4 points, and it is 9-6, and there's a Witch steal. Pulling up with the jumper, Rachel Wing. She connects, and just like that, a 7-0 run is answered by a 4-0 run by Brewer, and it's 9-8 Bangor.
Very little scoring in the beginning of this game, but it's coming fast and furious now.
In transition, McLeod fires it up. Rebound by the Witches. Good defensive board. Witches in transition. Freeman likes that open 3. She misses everything. Weak side rebound pulled down by the Rams. And Chris, we've seen that a lot. Not a whole lot of second shot opportunities for either ball club.
No. Action is moving right along, though.
In transition again, Laura Clark getting back so the defense can't get set up. Driving on the right baseline is fouled, and will go to the line and shoot 2. And as you talked about, Chris, in Class A, they talk about the difference. I mean, obviously there's talent differentials from A to D, but the biggest thing is that pressure defense. So the best way to beat the defense, get down there in transition and get some easy buckets. Clark with 5 points on the night, 1 of 1 from the line, connects on the first one. First appearance of the night for Stacy Bean. She's in the game for the Brewer Witches, replacing Rachel Wing. Will sit with 2 points. 10-8 Bangor, 3:28 to go first quarter from Red Berry Gymnasium. Just barely grazes the rim on the second one, and the Witches have to hustle in to get the rebound. Harris, a lot of pressure, gets it up to Freeman. She'll be trapped and gets it off to Bean. Bean looks to drive. Nice bounce pass. Wide open look for Ashley Adams, who connects with the left hand. She's got 4 points, and we're knotted up at 10 with 3:10 to go first quarter.
That quick transition game is really stretching those presses, and they're getting a lot of layups on both sides of the ball.
And it looks like another turnover here. The Witches and Carolyn McAvoy come away with it. Picks up the dribble, needs some help, gives it back to Freeman. Freeman's not shy from outside. She's attempted a couple, hasn't connected yet. Outside to McAvoy. She'll take that 3 as well. Off glass, no good, and the Rams with the rebound. 1 and done again. Laura Clark taking her time. Didn't push that time. Goes into the corner. McCallion with the 3, no good. And the weak side board pulled down by the Witches. McAvoy dribbles into the double team, gets rid of it. Bean will take the 10-footer, no good. And both teams continue the transition play with nothing to show for it. But the Witches with a steal inside to Ashley Adams. And she's the beneficiary of another layup. She's got 6, and the Witches back on top, 12-10.
Layup, layup, layup.
And as you ask, and you shall receive another layup opportunity, but Ogden can't connect on that one. But it continues to be the story with both teams pressing.
It's really interesting. I'd like to know how many jumpers have actually been made tonight.
Ashley Hayden in the ball game for the Rams, her first appearance, 12-10. It's been a game of runs, a 7-0 run for Bangor, getting out to a 9-4 lead, and now an 8-1 run by the Witches.
And nobody was scoring at the beginning of this game.
No, the first 2 minutes, not even a shot went off. McAvoy with the basketball around the perimeter. The Witches with a 2-point lead, taking their time. Dangerous pass. Bean cuts to the ball. Looks like she might have got away with a travel. Misses the shot, though, and the Rams come away with the ball. McLeod into the corner to Clark. Clark up fake, drives on the baseline. Nice move, but can't get the shot to go. And an outlet to McAvoy. She doesn't have the numbers. 1-on-3. She'll go coast to coast nonetheless, off glass, and it's nothing but a sea of white underneath the boards. The Rams will come the other way in transition. 3-on-3, cutting to the basket. Clark. She's already got 6 points. Front rims that jumper. And the Witches get the rebound, and back we come the other way. McAvoy with a 2-on-2. This one's off glass and good. McAvoy's got 6 points, and Brewer with their biggest lead of the night, 14-10.
It's like a hockey game action, back and forth, back and forth.
Need an icing, though, so everybody can catch their breath. Instead, McCallion takes the baseline jumper. No good. No shortage of shots tonight after a slow start. Bean with the basketball for the Witches. We'll get it out to Trisha Ham. Ham drives in, has her shot blocked, and the Rams will come away with it. Now 40 seconds to go in the first quarter from Red Berry Gymnasium in Bangor, where the Witches are on top by 4, looking to improve their record to 3-2 early in the year. Crossover dribble by McLeod, and she's going to get called for the carry. It's one of those rules they instituted several years ago, and it's a tough one. You know, you watch the NBA, you see Iverson do it all the time. You know, they basically hold the basketball and turn it over, and you just can't do that at all in high school. Taking a seat for the Brewer Witches, Ashley Adams, a well-deserved rest. She's been running the floor nicely and has got 6 points early on. And just like we saw before, a little travel action by Brewer. So again, the press is seemingly giving up a lot of points, but at the same time, they're doing their job creating the turnovers. Definitely a more hectic-paced ball game. So we got 24 seconds to go first quarter. We'll see if the Rams hold for the final shot, down by 4. Around the perimeter. Clark looks inside, nothing there. Skip pass, cross court to Porter. Porter kicks it back out. Clark thinks about the 3, then goes to drive and is called for the travel. 12 seconds to go. So now the Witches will have a chance to score last in the quarter. Katie Quimby inbounds it. Stacy Bean to bring it up. Trisha Hand drives up, gives it off. Quimby drives, splits the double team, tries to give it off, and we're going to have a travel called against Bangor. So 1 4/10 seconds left. Just about enough time to throw it inbounds and get a quick shot off. Look for somebody to get a screen here to get open. Way up top to Bean. She'll launch the 3 at the buzzer, grazes the rim, and that will do it for the first quarter of play from Red Berry Gymnasium. The Brewer Witches on the road and in the lead, 14-10. This is WBGR.
The road of life is full of unexpected hazards. Medical bills, divorce, bankruptcy, slow payments. If your life has ended up in bad credit, stop. Call toll-free Linehan's Credit Now hotline. Get quick approval, payments that make sense, reliable vehicles with warranties. Leave bad credit behind you forever. Call now. Phone lines answer 24 hours a day. You're approved. Your credit will not be denied. Call Linehan's Credit Now.
Back at Red Berry Gymnasium, Tim Collins and Chris James as we move on to the second quarter with the Witches on top 14-10. I can't speak for you, Chris, but I need some oxygen and some water. That was a hectic first quarter.
It wasn't. It ended the same way it started. A lot of turnovers and missed shots at the end of that quarter. Not a lot of scoring.
Boy, there was a lot there in the middle, though. The press has definitely controlled the tempo of this ball game, and it's what both coaches have been looking for. So Bangor opens up with a quick 15-footer, and draining that one is Marissa McLeod. She's got 4 points, and Bangor cuts the Brewer lead to 2. It's 14-12. quickly. Brewer in the other direction. Freeman thinking about that three. She's missed a couple from there, so she drives in, misses the 10-footer, and again, one and done as the Rams control the defensive boards. Megan McCrum looking to go baseline. Bounce pass to Clark is going to be knocked out of bounds, and the Rams will keep the basketball. 7:26 to go in the first half.
Been a tough game to keep up with.
Back and forth they go. Baseline jumper taken by McLeod, no good. And the rebound pulled down by Harris. The transfer from Lee Academy. Good three-point shooter from the outside. Brewer a deep team, and they've got several players off the bench, 3 to be specific. Harris over to Quimby real quick. And again, against that zone. Nice cut by Bean. And put that shot up, so exactly what Coach Savage wanted, however, no basket to show for it. That's how you beat the zone. Good ball movement. Driving. McCallion can't get it to show. And now Brewer will look to run. 3-on-1. Harris with the bounce pass to Quimby and a little behind her. And that's one of those things when you have the player with the basketball on the break, especially on a 3-on-1, you'd like them to be in the middle with the 2 wings on each side. Harris didn't have that luxury. Made it a little easier to play defense. You know the pass is going left. Knocked out of bounds. Good full court pressure there by the Witches. However, Bangor will keep the basketball, and checking back in the ball game is going to be Rachel Wing. Wing with 2 points. Stacy Beam will take a seat, and I tell you what, I can assure you everyone taking a seat here needs it. They're probably dying for some oxygen.
That press is definitely going to start tiring some players out pretty soon.
Good hustle by Freeman, getting back and knocking that one out of bounds. Rams will keep the basketball underneath their own hoop with 6:32 to go in the first half, trailing by 2. Again, the ball knocked out of bounds. Officials talk it over and say that the Rams will keep the basketball. More substitutions. Ashley Hayden in the ball game now for the Rams. Weymouth also back in the ball game, works it around the perimeter against the zone. Both teams have shown patience in the half court. 3-pointers rifled up by McLeod, no good. It's going to be tracked down far side of the court by Clark. Clark will look to go back inside, nothing there, so the Rams reset it again. 6 minutes to go first half. A good ball game so far. 3-pointer, again, no good. Nobody has connected on the 3-point shot so far. And it's 14-12 Brewer with the basketball. Up the Freeman, dangerous skip pass, good quick passing, gets it to Wing, the open 3 is no good, but again, no second shot opportunities, and the Ram look to run, and again, the Witches hustled him back, and Wing knocks it out of bounds, and they're gonna say it went off of the Bangor Rams, and the Witches will get it via a turnover.
The second quarter is following the script. The first quarter set out, it was 14-10 after 1, it's now 14-12 over 2 minutes into this second quarter. Not a lot of scoring at the beginning.
No, if you get the two teams have really scored a ton of points in transition. So if the defenses get back, then it's pretty much stifling the offense. We talked about, obviously, I mean, it's not like it's rocket science. You get teams out of a zone usually by hitting the medium range to outside shots. There's been some medium range jumpers hit, but no threes as of yet. Quimby with the basketball inside to McAvoy. Double team, needs some help and gets it out to Freeman. 5:30 to go in the first half. 2-point Brewer lead. They definitely need to get some help on the inside for second shot opportunities. Right now, if they don't connect on the first one, they're not going to get anything. Shot by McAvoy and cased in point as the Rams get the rebound, knocked out of bounds, but the Rams will keep it. Tim Collins and Chris James with you on WBGR, part of the Interscholastic Sports Network. Our next ball game is coming up Thursday, ringing off the new year in grand style. Brewer and Bangor from the same gymnasium in boys matchup. It is going to be a great one. Driving on the right side, and the shot up is McLeod. Can't get it to go, but she will head to the line and shoot 2, where the Rams tonight are 2 of 3. McLeod with 4 points on the night as the junior guard steps to the line.
Brewer High School has really been the beneficiary of Downey's transfers this year, as Andy Frost from Callis will be on the boys squad this year.
Yeah, I've seen him in a couple games early on, and talk about making transitions from new schools. He hasn't had a whole lot of trouble with that. I believe Mark Reed's Witches are 4-0 right now, and I believe his Dad at Bangor's 3-0, so both teams are perfect and could be on a collision course for an early season battle. Though it wouldn't matter if one was undefeated and one hadn't won a game yet. It would be a big game. Both missed from the line by McLeod, and the Witches in transition get it up the wing. And there's that transition basketball we're talking about. Wing has now got 4, and it's back up to a 4-point lead for the Witches. And almost a turnover by the Rams. Looked like Weymouth might have moved the pivot foot. Instead, she gets the pass up to McCrum, who misses the 3, and the Witches will come the other way. Both teams have done a masterful job on the defensive boards. McAvoy for the 3. Nothing there, and again, a sea of white on the defensive boards.
If you don't get a quick shot off, chances are you aren't going to score on that possession, it appears.
The defenses are playing well in the half court and controlling the boards, so either getting the score via transition or not a whole lot at all. 16-12 Witches midway through the second quarter. Into the baseline, McLeod just inside the 3-point line, and another defensive board for the Witches. Rachel Wing beats the double team, so temporarily the Witches have a 5-on-4. She drives in, misses the 15-footer, and the Rams with the rebound. I've never seen such dominance on both ends on the boards, on the defensive boards.
Whoever makes the most layups tonight. Whew.
The way it's starting right now, either that or the first team that starts hitting the threes and loosens that zone up a little bit. Inside. Going to work is missed by Ogden. She gets the ball back, can't get the shot to go. And we'll head to the free throw line. Alyssa Ogden on the night with 2 points. She led all scorers for Bangor in a loss to Caribou this Saturday. She had 18 points. A game that Bangor led by 7 and then got outscored by 15 points in the second quarter and recovered to put it into overtime but couldn't come away with it. Ogden hits the first. Rams now 3 of 6 from the line. As McLeod checks out of the ball game for the Rams.
Only 5-point score between the two teams, and more than half this quarter is gone.
Quimby back in the ball game for the Witches. 16-14. Witches lead, and they're going to be called for the travel, and the Rams will take over. Pretty much what we expected. We talked to both coaches. Everything going according to plan. Score pretty much what we thought. Tight like we thought. And defense is the story like we thought. Into the corner it goes. Baseline jumper going to be taken by Elise Angst. Can't get it to go. Another defensive board for the Witches. And Bean will look to run 1-on-2, but she goes right in everything but the finish. And somebody finally gets an offensive board as Katie Harris drives in, shoots it, and will be fouled.
The pace is up-tempo as we expected, but I don't think anybody expected it to be this up-tempo.
It's amazing. It reminds me way back probably in the 80s. I know I'm dating myself, but it reminds me of John Thompson's Georgetown Hoyas. I mean, they were notorious for just the suffocating defense. And then you had Arkansas pick up on it through the 90s with Nolan Richardson as Katie Harris gets the first one to go. And it seems like from that hectic defense, even when the defense isn't there, you're just so happy to get it in the offensive end. It becomes instinct to shoot the ball first good look you get. Therefore, your team's not there, not ready to rebound. You take pretty quick shots as Harris hits them both. And Brewer's now up by 4. That's pretty much been the story tonight. Weymouth drives in. Nice leaner for her first points of the night, and it's 18-16 Brewer. 2:55 to go in the first half. Brewer beats the press, 3-on-2 temporarily. Bean off glass, can't get it to go. Boy, she's got a lot of good shots and unfortunately hasn't got them to drop for her. Almost a steal. In fact, Harris gets a hand on it, and they are going to call her for a foul. And really, you know, Chris, it's surprising with as much pressing as both teams have done. There's only been 18 fouls called in this game so far.
Well, a lot of the time they're shredding through the defense and getting that quick layup.
Harris with her first foul, the team's 6th. Almost stolen away by Bean. It's going to leave odd numbers for Bangor as they try to hustle down. Brewer gets back on defense, and the Rams will have to reset with 2:30 to go, down by 2. McCrum needs a little help. Flashing out is Clark. Around the perimeter goes, thinking about the 3. Weymouth will take it. No good, and still no one has hit a 3-pointer tonight. Freeman looks to push it and is going to be called for the travel. The officials are right on top of that with the double dribble. Freeman looked up the court and hit it with both hands. Plain and simple.
Let alone three-pointers. Jumpers are coming at a premium.
Well, early we saw a couple medium-range jumpers hit by each team, but since then, it's pretty much like you said, it's been layup or within 10 feet.
Offense period hasn't been.
Only 3 field goals in this quarter and almost stolen away by the Witches. Turnover by the Rams, and Freeman will come away with it, and a foul is going to be called on Laura Clark. For Clark, it'll be her second and the team's third. Checking into the ball game for the Rams, Aaron Porter, and taking a seat is Laura Clark. She'll sit down with 6 points. Tim Collins, Chris James with you. This girls Class A matchup. Don't forget, coming up Thursday, a great ball game. These same 2 teams, different guys in the uniforms, though. It'll be the boys. The Mark and Roger Reed show. I know they don't like it referred to that way. As Freeman takes the 3, and there's an outside jumper hit. And it's 21-16, biggest lead of the ball game for the Witches. In fact, the biggest lead, it equals the biggest lead for either team. Bangor has also led this by 5. Earlier on in the contest, and an errant pass will go out of bounds, and the Witches will take over with 1:25 to go in the first half. McAvoy with it, dribbles into a double team, needing a little help, and finds it. Bean looks to penetrate. Nice bounce pass. McAvoy wide open. And she'll get the easy layup. McAvoy with 8 to lead all scorers, and it is now 23-16. The lead balloons to 7. Almost another steal by the Witches, but a nice pass up to Ogden. Ogden gets the easy layup. She's got 5 points, and it's 23-18.
Action is picking up late here. During most of this quarter, baskets were few and far between, but now 7 points in the last 2 possessions. Last 3 possessions.
Under a minute to go, 55 seconds to go, first half. Freeman to inbounds. Witches leading by 5. Be interesting to see, with no chance at a transition bucket, if the Witches will try to run a little clock. Evidently not, as they work it into the left blocks. And we're going to have a blocking foul called on Bangor. It just depends what school you're from. There are some people, when they feel that the offense is running, whether the points are coming or not, if the offense is running well, they don't like to take the air out of the ball. And then there are others that would say, hey, we're on the road, up by 5 points. Let's go ahead, pull it out against the zone, and get one final shot and go in the locker room no worse than a 5-point lead. Brewer, however, works it in. Adams with the shot. No good, out of bounds. And Brewer will keep the basketball now with 45 seconds to go in the half. Underneath her own basket, Stacy Bean to inbound, gets it right to Ashley Adams. And Adams has now got 8 points, all on layups, and it's back up to a 7-point Brewer lead, 25-18. 30 seconds to go. Brewer goes for the steal, creating a 3-on-2 break on the miss in the lane. Nice medium-range jumper hit by McLeod. She's now got 6, and it's 25-20. And the Witches will have 22 seconds to answer. They've got a 2-on-1. McAvoy draws the defender. The up fake by Adams gets the defender in the air, and she's now in double figures with 10. 27-20. Rams with one final opportunity with 10 seconds to go. The up fake by Hayden. She'll be called for the travel, and the Witches will take over. And so much for either team holding for the final shot. I'm assuming it's going to take Brewer this amount of time to get it down there, but I could be wrong, and I am. Bangor steals the ball, and we'll get the final opportunity. Over it goes to McLeod. Inside. Nice look by Hayden. Can't get it to go. And missing at the buzzer. The Bangor Rams find themselves down at home to the Brewer Witches, 27-20. This is WBGR Bangor.
You're watching WBGR TV Bangor.
of life is full of unexpected hazards. Medical bills, divorce, bankruptcy, slow payments. If your life has ended up in bad credit, stop. Call toll-free Linehan's Credit Now hotline. Get quick approval, payments that make sense, reliable vehicles with warranties. Leave bad credit behind you forever. Call now. Phone lines answer 24 hours a day. You're approved. Your credit will not be denied. Call Linehan's Credit Now.
Back at Redberry Gymnasium, the halftime score, Brewer Witches on top of the Bangor Rams, 27-20 in this girls basketball matchup. First half scoring, the Bangor Rams led by Laura Clark and Marissa McLeod, each with 6 points. Alyssa Ogden with 5 and Caroline Weymouth with 2. Also 3 of 6 for the line for the Bangor Rams for a total of 20 points. The Brewer Witches led by Ashley Adams, 10 points, and she did it all on the inside. Carolyn McAvoy with 8, Rachel Wing with 4, Amy Freeman with the lone three-pointer for either ball club tonight, and Katie Harris with a couple free throws for 2 points. The Witches on top 27-20. That is the biggest lead for either team. And Brewer 2 of 2 from the line. And from what we hear from some of the fans chatting around halftime, this is one of the best games they've seen the Brewer Witches play all year. And never better for a bigger game than against a good arch rival, Chris.
Exactly. And it's safe to say that everybody did it. Almost everybody did it from the inside in that first half.
It was all transition basketball. The full court pressure led to the transition buckets, and from there, the teams have to make their halftime adjustments. I mean, they both got to be happy with the way they've contained the outside shooting. Now, it's a matter of can they stop the transition buckets. Brewer will start with the basketball and a 7-point lead. Bangor has led by as much as 5, the Witches by as much as 7. And there's a nice 15-footer to open up the second half. Carolyn McAvoy into double figures with 10. It's 29-20 Witches. How about that? Need a medium-range jumper, and that's exactly what you get. Going baseline, nice move, a little bit out of control by Clark. Can't get the tough shot to go. And on the rebounding action, a travel is called, but a nice break to the lane. Just Clark got herself in a very difficult position to try to go for that reverse layup.
Kind of just had to throw it up there.
Exactly. Off the ground and nowhere to go with it but to throw it up. Brewer again against the press. Quickly a 3-on-2. Wing drives in, can't get the shot to go. Will try to follow up her shot. Tips it inbounds, but the Rams will get it, and they'll look to run. Trailing by 9 early in the third quarter. Tim Collins and Chris James with you at Redberry Gymnasium in Bangor, as the foul is going to be called on the Witches, and we will shoot some free throws. Marissa McLeod will step to the line. She's got 6 points on the night. The junior 0 for 2 from the line. Picking up right where we left off. First one is good by McLeod.
This quarter seems to be starting a little more lively, though, some scoring in the first minute.
Yeah, each quarter, the first couple of minutes, regardless of how up-tempo it's been, hasn't resulted in a whole lot of buckets. Second one is missed by McLeod, and the rebound pulled down by Bangor. Ogden fires it up, no good.
In fact, I think this is the first quarter we've had a bucket in the first 2 minutes.
Exactly. 8-point Witch lead. Rachel Wing with the basketball. Bounce pass over to Adams. Adams drives the lane. It'll be interesting to see whether they call this a shooting foul or not. She left the ground. It looked like she was trying to get the ball out to McAvoy, so we'll see what the officials say, and they are correct. It was on a pass, so Brewer will inbound under their own basket. That is the third foul on Alyssa Ogden. So her third, team's first. Inbound goes into Adams. She can't connect on the layup. And as the defensive team has done, they control the board. The Rams get it over. A wide open 3 from McLeod. Can't get it to go. And the Rams can't buy a 3. They've had a lot of good looks tonight and have not connected yet. Kelsey Curtis makes her first appearance of the night, replacing Alyssa Ogden. She'll sit with 5 points and 3 fouls. McLeod with the ball inside. Good defense by McAvoy. A little bit out of position, but able to get a hand in it and punch it away from Curtis.
Been a pretty clean game, and Ogden is the first player who's in any kind of serious foul trouble.
Only about 10 fouls in the first half, which with all the pressing is not too bad, as Curtis comes off the bench and in the books with 2 points, 29-23. No better way to get coaches' attention than to come right in the ball game and hit a nice 8 to 10-foot jumper. Freeman with the basketball. Tries to work it inside, knocked away by the Rams.
Easiest way to get attention in this game is to hit a jumper.
14-footer taken by McLeod, no good. And another defensive board for the Witches. Freeman looks to run. Bangor gets back on defense. They have the number of players back on defense, but still McAvoy able to get in front of them, and she'll be fouled and go to the line and shoot 2. 4 Rams were back in transition. McAvoy simply outran them. So McAvoy in double figures along with her teammate Ashley Adams, both with 10. And this will be her first free throw opportunity of the game. The Witches a perfect 2 of 2 from the line. And the first one rattles home. 30-23. Brewer 2-2 coming into the ball game. Coming off of a weekend win against John Bass. Bangor looking to rebound from a loss on the road in overtime to Caribou. They're sitting at 1-2 as McAvoy hits the second and gives Brewer their biggest lead of the night, 31-23, 6 minutes to go in the third quarter. Tim Collins and Chris James with you on WBGR Bangor, part of the Interscholastic Sports Network. Bangor looking to work the ball inside against the man defense.
Teams are consistently setting up the half court now for the first time in the game.
Bangor looking to go inside, nothing there. Finally on the baseline, Kelsey Curtis flashes out, gets the ball, and is going to be fouled, and will go to the line and shoot 2. So the freshman center steps into the ball game and has an instant impact, hitting a jumper and now going to the free throw line. And the youth movement continues for Coach Tennant. 3 sophomore starters and more youngsters contributing. Really an exciting future for both of these teams. Brewer turning around their program this year, and for Bangor, some youngsters that are contributing. 5:43 to go in the third. First one is hit, and the second one is no good, so it's 31-24, which is by 7. McAvoy with the basketball, looking for some help, kicks it out the wing. Wing taking her time. Rams as well on the man-to-man. They said both teams would mix up the man and the zone tonight. A steal by the Rams, really the first breakaway layup we've seen in a while. McLeod, coast to coast, she's got 9 points, and it's 31-26. And here comes the full court press by the Rams. Freeman able to get through it. Ball rolls up to McAvoy. McAvoy loses the handle in need of some help. Back to Freeman. And a good timeout there for Coach Savage as the Witches looked a little out of sorts against the man-to-man. He'll take a full timeout and try to talk things over. With 5:09 to go in the third quarter, it's 31-26. Our next scheduled ball game on the Interscholastic Sports Network coming up this Thursday. Going to be a great ball game. Brewer versus Bangor right here at Redberry Gymnasium, and it's going to be a boys matchup. Both teams unofficially in the top 10 in the state, according to the WBGR Main Round Ball Magazine online poll. Both teams in the top 10, and at this point, unbeaten. Then we have a ball game coming up Friday the 3rd, and that will be on 105.7EX, and that is Penguins against Mattanacook, and part of the Interscholastic Sports Network. Partnership between 88.5 WHCF, 105.7 WHMX, St. Croix Video, and WBGR TV, bringing you high school basketball in Central Maine.
As Brewer takes the floor again, they got to be happy where they are, because for once in a long time, Bangor's worrying about catching up with Brewer and not the other way around.
Of course, then the trick is if you're not the team used to holding leads, now you've got to learn how to hold on to those leads. So with the good is still a learning experience one way or the other. McAvoy drives in, has a good look, but has it blocked away, and coming away with the loose ball is McLeod. Outlet to Clark. Clark will look to push. Nothing there. Brewer gets back quickly. Baseline shot is going to be rifled up. No good. And the rebound going to be pulled down by McAvoy. Coach Savage said she loves to bang, and that was a great example. Freeman coast to coast. Can't get the layup to go. And there's the freshman, Kelsey Curtis, ripping down the board. Outlet pass to McLeod, having a little trouble with the handle. And the Rams able to settle things down with 4.5 minutes to go in the third, trailing by 5. Brewers led by as much as 8. And there's a nice 10-footer by McLeod. She's in double figures with 11, and the lead is down to 3, 31-28.
That wide open offense is back. Didn't leave us for long.
Freeman with the basketball against the man, trying to back her way in, and then is going to throw it away. So the wheels coming off temporarily. A 5-0 run by Bangor, getting themselves back in this ball game, 31-28. And we've seen another ball game against Hamden where Brewer led at the half, was very close at the end of 3 and then had trouble in the fourth quarter and ended up losing the ball game. Hamden went away in that one, winning by 16 points, which is looking for a better finish tonight as the ball goes inside and good once again, 31-30.
Once again, that experience holding the ball could be, and holding a lead, could be coming back to bite Brewer.
So a 1-point lead, 7-0 run, and another steal by the Rams. Going to go out of bounds. And the Witches will keep the basketball. As checking in is going to be Stacy Bean. She'll replace Katie Harris. Harris with 2 points, none from the field, and of course, always looking for her to get going from the outside. Hasn't had a chance tonight. Inbounds pass goes to McAvoy, off the glass and good. She's got all 6 of Brewer's points in this quarter, and it's 33-30. Quickly, Bangor tries to get back. The Brewer defense beats them to it. Outside jumper going to be fired up by Tara Sullivan. No good. However, Bangor gets the rebound, and the shot is put up by the freshman Kelsey Curtis, and she'll be fouled and shoot 2. So finally, a couple of second shot opportunities. They have been at a minimum in this ball game. 3-point Witch lead with 3:16 to go in the third quarter. Tim Collins and Chris James with you on WBGR Bangor. Freshman Curtis hits the first. She's now 2 of 3 from the line since checking into the ball game earlier in the third quarter. She's got 4 points. Forced into action as the sophomore Alyssa Ogden picked up her 3rd foul. Second one is up. It's good as well. And it's back down to a 1-point Witch lead, 33-32.
Right now, Coach Tennett's probably happy that she was forced into action.
All's well that ends well. Doesn't matter if you start the game on the bench, just matters where you end up. Foul called on Bangor. It's going to go on Laura Clark, her 3rd and the team's 3rd. Clark will take a seat, and replacing her is Caroline Weymouth.
Fouls are starting to pick up in the second half.
So 3:09 to go in the third quarter, and Brewer nursing a 1-point lead that has shrunk quickly from 8. Backing her way in, Ashley Adams. She's had a heyday underneath the basket. Shot in the lane is no good, but she will go to the line and shoot 2. Adams has done a good job. I mean, you talk about it, you think of hockey. You get all those players come flying down, and there's always that one person that always is getting open right in front of the net to punch him in, and that's the way Ashley Adams has been tonight. She's had a nose for the ball around the basket and has had 5 inside shots. She misses the first free throw attempt. A chance now to extend it to 2 with 3 minutes to go in the third. And she cannot connect. However, Brewer able to get the ball, gets it over to McAvoy, and McAvoy will be fouled. Good hustle by Freeman, getting the loose ball over to McAvoy, cutting to the basket, just like you want the players to do without the ball, and the foul's going to be called on Megan McCrum, her 1st and the team's 5th. So free throws really didn't factor in the first half. The 2 teams combined only attempted 8. And McAvoy hits the first one. And she continues to dominate the scoring. She is the only Brewer player that has scored in the quarter. She now has 7. Second one is on the way. Good arc to it. It is good as well. She's a perfect 4 of 4 from the line. And McAvoy on the night with 16 points. It's 35-32 Brewer.
We said that she's been the consistency in the Brewers rebuilding process, and she was their star player coming in.
In the lean time, she was the scorer, and now as a senior, when the program's beginning to turn around, still the scorer. Foul on the play, going to be called on Stacy Bean, her 1st and the team's 4th. So now Bangor with 5 team fouls and Brewer with 4. So free throws look like they're going to more than likely play a roll down the stretch as they usually do. Nice pass onto the baseline with a good move by McCrum. Shakes the defender on the baseline and scores the layup. It's 35-34. Brewer by 1, knocked out of bounds. And that's the one thing on defense that you're taught to try to stop is the baseline. You don't want to give up the baseline, because if you do, it's an easy lane, obviously, for McCrum as she went in and got the easy bucket for her first points of the night. So 2:29 to go in the third, which is by just 1. Driving in, shot blocked by Sullivan. And Bangor gets the loose ball and a chance to get the first lead since early first quarter. Bangor had an 8-0 run early in the game, and then things settled down, and Brewer has been in control for the last 16 minutes. Around the perimeter, the three was there, not able to get it off quick enough. So the Rams continue to look inside to Weymouth. Nothing is there, so the three-pointer fired up by McLeod. And Brewer able to get the rebound, and here they go looking to run. Freeman with a 2-on-1 on the right side, drives it up, and will be fouled and go to the line and shoot two. It has been the story in transition tonight. The Witches have been able to get a lot of transition buckets. Foul on the play called on Sullivan, a good one. Her first foul on the team's 6th, so we'll be in the 1-1 on the next foul. With 1:50 to go in the third, Freeman at the line misses the first. So still, no one else has scored in the quarter for the Witches besides McAvoy. McAvoy 4 of 4 from the line in the quarter, and the rest of the team now 1 of 5 as Freeman hits the second. 36-34, Brewer by a bucket with a $1:45 to go. McLeod thinks about the three, instead kicks it over to McCrum. Into the baseline, three fired by Weymouth, no good. And again, the defensive boards controlled by Brewer. Up to Freeman. Freeman outside. Inside it goes to McAvoy. McAvoy, scoop shot off glass, no good. And the foul's beginning to mount in the half court. And this is what you have a tendency to see. You see the feet get a little tired, and you play defense with the feet, not with the hands, and the defender's not getting in the position that they need to. And the aggressive McAvoy will head to the line again.
I think in this quarter we've had more fouls than we had in the whole first half. 11 already.
And we are now in the 1-1, and will be for the final 9:25.
Don't believe we saw 1-1 in the first half.
Well, we didn't. McAvoy misses her first from the line. She has 16 on the night. Katie Harris back in the ball game for Brewer, and Aaron Porter back in the ball game for the Rams. Freeman sits with 4 points, and Sullivan will take a seat as well for the Rams.
McAvoy's first miss of the line, really her first mistake in the third quarter.
Second one is on the way. Good arc. It's front rimmed, but there for the rebound and the putback attempt is Adams. She can't get it to go. And on the weak side rebound, we've got a tie-up. Possession arrow favors the Rams. So the Rams still with a chance to tie it up. Trailed by as many as 8 and have led by as much as 5, but that was way back in the first quarter. Going to have a foul on the Witches, and the Rams will keep possession of the basketball. It's going to be the Witches' 5th team foul, and that'll be the first on Tricia Ham. Tim Collins and Chris James with you for this girls' Class A matchup. Steal by Bean. Nice job. Inside it goes to Adams. Scoop shot no good, and Bangor dodges a bullet, comes away with it. So you talk about turnovers and then conversions off of the turnovers. There's been a lot of turnovers, but not a whole lot of cashing in here in the second half. McLeod with it, looking to go inside. Cut off, so she'll move it out to McCrum. McCrum, runner in the lane, is no good, and Brewer will come away with it. More substitutions. Emily McLaughlin into the game. Both teams going deep on the bench. McLaughlin with her first appearance, and McAvoy will sit for the first time in a long time. Going to get a breather over the final minute of the quarter. She'll sit with 16. 36-34, Brewer by 2. Harris outside to Bean. Flashing out is Adams. See if Brewer runs a little clock. They go baseline, can't hold on to the ball, and able to get it back is Ham. And we are going to have a reach-in foul called. So we are in the 1-1. That will be the 8th foul, so we should go to the line. We are in the 1-1. Players didn't realize it. Foul on the play. Called on Aaron Porter. It'll be her first and the team's 8th. So to the line, Tricia Ham, who has not scored on the night. And misses the front end of the 1-1. So Brewer has not really helped themselves from the line. McAvoy was a perfect 4 of 4, then missed her final 2. 8 misses from the line in the quarter for Brewer. So this lead could be up where it has been. Driving in, no call by the officials as Weymouth collides with a Brewer defender, and the Witches get the rebound with 12 seconds to go. Harris with the basketball. Now down to 10, up to Bean. Bean will pull up, has the shot blocked from behind by McLeod. Not much time, 4 seconds. The Witches will keep the ball in the backcourt, and a foul will be called on Brewer. It will not result in any free throws with 1 8/10 seconds to go in the third. So Bangor with a chance to at least launch one from midcourt. But they've cut in to the Brewer lead. They started down by 7 in the third and are going to find themselves at worst down by 2. The ball's going to be knocked down out of bounds, and Bangor will at least advance the ball down the court now for a more realistic shot at the buzzer. 4/10 of a second to go. 36-34, into the third. McLeod launches at the buzzer, in and out. That ball was halfway down and came out. We will move on to the fourth quarter with the Witches on top of the Rams. 36-34, we are WBGR Bangor.
The road of life is full of unexpected hazards. Medical bills, divorce, bankruptcy, slow payments. If your life has ended up in bad credit, stop. Call toll-free Linehan's Credit Now hotline. Get quick approval, payments that make sense, reliable vehicles with warranties. Leave bad credit behind you forever. Call now. Phone lines answer 24 hours a day. You're approved. Your credit will not be denied. Call Linehan's Credit Now.
Back at Redberry Gymnasium, getting ready for the start of the fourth quarter. And the storyline in the third quarter, the Bangor Rams cutting into a 7-point deficit. They trail only now by 2 points headed into the fourth, and they benefited from Brewer struggling a little bit at the free throw line. They entered the quarter a perfect 2 for 2 and come out of the quarter 7 of 15. So just 5 of 13 from the line in the third quarter. And we always talk about the fundamentals down the stretch. Brewer and Bangor, for that matter, is going to have to do a better job from the line to win this ball game. So a 2-point lead, Bangor with the basketball, chance to tie it up. Baseline jumper no good, and the Witches get the rebound.
Well, Brewer came into that quarter up 7, maybe even an uncomfortable situation for the team. Not used to that.
Well, especially in a tight ball game. I mean, you're talking about stepping down in the class against Bucksport. John Bapps was a mismatch. I mean, it was 40-9 at the half as the Witches missed the shot. Rams get the basketball. So really the first tight game since Hamden, and a chance to win one on the road. But they're going to have to continue to battle as Curtis gets the layup. She's got 7 points now, and we're tied at 36. Skip pass cross court through the hands of McLaughlin, but the Witch is able to track it down. Bean looks to drive. Harris with it out top to Adams. Adams drives in, 10-footer, misses. Tries to follow her shot, but the Rams get the basketball, and McAvoy will head to the scorer's table to get back in the game. She's got 16 of the 36 points. This game very reminiscent of a loss at Hamden Academy, and Bangor with their first lead since the first quarter. It's 38-36. Shot's going to be rifled up in the lane by Bean. She'll be fouled and go to the line and shoot 2, but it's very eerily similar to the ball game, as I said, early in the year at Hamden. You know, on the road with the lead, fell behind a little bit in the third, and then the wheels came off in the fourth. I know the Witches, and see, that's what you said. It's the experience of getting used to playing in these tight ball games, especially on the road. That's tough. And now, hopefully, for the Witches, I know looking for a better result, and for the Rams, of course, looking to get back to 500 early in the year. They come in the game at 1-2.
And this has to be one of the toughest games to have a tight game. It's a big rivalry, and there's a big crowd in the house tonight.
Bean hits the first one to draw the Witches within 1. Second one is no good, so Bangor will keep the 1-point lead, but McAvoy with the steal, puts it up, no good, gets the ball almost back, and sneaking in there is Aaron Porter. Getting it back is McAvoy. McAvoy misses the left-hander, but will go to the line and shoot 2. And Coach Savage said a great compliment. I haven't had a chance to talk to her, so I'm assuming he's talking athletically and not verbally, that she's a lot like Charles Barkley. You know, Charles was one of those guys that really had no business being in there rebounding, but always got in with the bigger players and could bang around and get the loose ball. And McAvoy is the prototype of that. As she heads to the line and connects on the first, she leads all scores with 17, and we're tied back up at 38. .6:33 to go. McAvoy with a chance to give Brewer the lead, and she connects. She's now got 18. It's 39-38, and here's the full court press. And a steal by the Witches. 3-on-2. Wing pulls up from the foul line. No good. Loose ball will come all the way back out. McAvoy will try a three and connects. A big one for Carolyn McAvoy. She's got 21 points. It's 42-38, and the Witches knocked that one out of bounds. And boy, I tell you what, you have a 7-point lead, Chris. You see it evaporate. You're down by 2, and then just like that, you go on a 6-0 run and are back on top by 4.
Couldn't come at a better time, and you see Harris getting up there and playing tough D. Really fires up your squad.
Bangor battling through the full court pressure. We're in the 1-1 for both teams. Wide open look for the Rams. Clutch shot by Elise Angst, her first bucket of the ball game, and it's 42-40. Bangor gets closer. Harris open in the corner, has to hustle to track that one down. And they'll reset the offense. Inside to McAvoy, turnaround shot is no good, but McAvoy will go back to the line and shoot 2. (42-40), Witches clinging to a 2-point lead. Both teams have taken their opportunity leading this game. The Rams have led by 5. Witches have led by 8. 5:51 to go, and McAvoy at the line with 21 points. That one is short.
I tell you look at the Brewer box score right now, and not a lot of points there, and you look at McAvoy's name, and there's a long line of 2s right next to her.
6 out of 9 from the line for McAvoy. Make it 7 of 10 as she hits the second, and it's 43-40. Again, the full court press with 5:45 to go. 3-point Witch lead, and a foul from behind is going to be called on Stacy Bean. And now that will put Bangor to the line in a 1-1. So Bangor's in the 1-1, and Brewer shoots 2 from here on out. Stacy Bean called for the foul, as we said. It'll be her 3rd, team's 7th. And to the line goes Elise Angst, a freshman. The ever-important front end of the 1-1. Angst lets it go and front rims it. Rebound pulled down by Bean. Bean, quick outlet pass, is picked off by Weymouth. And Bangor with the numbers, 3-on-2, driving in, and that's a good call by the officials right there. Freeman had her feet planted right there. Weymouth didn't pull up, and it's going to be called for the player control. That's the right call. So Bangor will continue to trail by 3 with 5:37 to go. For the foul, Weymouth will be called with her first. On the offensive foul, we do not shoot free throws. However, Bangor steals the ball away on a deflection, and we're going to have our second player control foul called on Ogden. And that will be her 4th. Remember, she spent a lot of time on the bench, picked up 3 back in the second quarter, comes back in and picks up number 4. 5:34 to go, so you don't see that often. A couple player control fouls called at home late in the ball game. Right calls, though, by the official, I believe. Freeman gets it up the wing. Wing drives in. Harris in the corner, trying to get free for the 3, unable to. Good defense by the Rams in the man-to-man. Bounce pass inside to McAvoy, almost stolen away. McAvoy off glass, forces it, no good, but there's Freeman. Put back is missed, and they're going to say partially blocked by the Rams. And Brewer keeps the basketball. Ogden back out of the ball game with 4 fouls. Inbounds pass to a cutting McAvoy. And McAvoy now in the quarter has 8 points and 24 in the game. It's 45-40. Bangor with the numbers, a 2-on-2. Weymouth fires it up, no good. Rebound by Harris, and it's going to be tied up. Good hands by Rachel McCallion. 4:58 to go, which is back up by 5. Possession arrow favors the Rams. Katie Quimby in the ball game, replacing Katie Harris for the Witches. And the Rams will inbound under their own bucket. McLeod calling for the basketball, gets it, goes baseline, beats Freeman, gets the wide open look, can't get it to go. And the loose ball eventually is going to come down. And it almost looked like 2 Rams
yeah,
had
it looked
the
like
basketball.
2 Rams had the ball to me.
It really did. It looked like 2 Rams had the basketball. However, tie-up is called, and Brewer gets it on the possession arrow. Freeman gets it, avoids the double team up the wing. Wing will pull it out and set up the offense against the man-to-man. 5-point Witch lead. They've seen their 8-point lead evaporate to trail by 2, and now they're back up by 5. Baseline shot by McAvoy, no good. However, she gets a hand in there, steals it back, drives in for the layup, and the Rams block that one out of bounds. And you could see Coach Savage on the sideline, animated, very excited, and would have enjoyed a foul call, but it was blocked. And it is a foul call, sorry.
It's a very excitable bench across the way.
McLeod called for the foul. That'll be her fourth. So now Ogden with 4, McLeod with 4. And McLeod leads the Ram in scoring with 11. So McAvoy back to the line where she's 7 of 10. Make it now 8 of 11. And we talked about the importance of the free throws with both teams being in the bonus. So far in the quarter, the Witches are pulling their weight, 5 of 7 from the line as a team. Second one from McAvoy as well will go in.
We saw this game slipping through Brewer's fingers, but maybe lessons learned at Hamden.
And the steal by Wing. And Brewer pulls it out. A very confident-looking Brewer Witch team on the road midway through the fourth and now up by 7. They've led by as much as 8. And a 5-second call. And Bangor will take over. So big call right there. That's where you just have to keep your eyes on the officials. If the defender gets up in that vicinity close enough to you, you got to pay attention. Almost a steal by Wing. Hanks, pull-up jumper's no good. And on the rebounding action, it will go out of bounds off of the Witches. And the Rams will keep it with 3:58 to go.
Rams are getting their opportunities, no doubt.
Knocked away by Bean and tracked down in the backcourt by Angst. The Witches. What aggressive defense. McAvoy comes in. They go for the double team in the backcourt. And then suddenly it turns into an almost steal. A lot of teams would pull back and just say, fine, go get the basketball. Instead, they knock it in the backcourt, go for the double team, and then step in the passing lane and create a 3-on-1, and McAvoy's now at the line.
Great pressure defense from the Witches.
So back to the line we go. In the quarter, 10 points for McAvoy, make it 11, and she's now got 27. 48-40. It is the biggest lead of the night for the Witches, and a good time to have it with 3:48 to go on the road at Bangor. Second one on the way. Front rimmed, and the Witches get the rebound. Quimby. Good hustle. Freeman with the 3. It'd be a monster, and she gets it. Amy Freeman, second 3 of the night, 51-40, and Brewer's lead is in double figures, 51-40. Driving in after going coast to coast, Laura Clark, and she'll be fouled on the play. Wow, that is a dagger right there. You edge away from the free throw line, connecting as McAvoy has hit 6 of them, to slowly pull away, and then you hit the huge 3 by Amy Freeman. Freeman now with 7.
Calling that huge is a huge understatement.
Yeah, can't state that one enough, I guess. It's not often for me, but that would be an opportunity. Laura Clark misses the first. And Bangor now 0 of 2 from the line in the quarter, 7 of 14 from the line in the game. Clark on the night with 8 points. Second one is up, no good off the back of the rim, and the Witches get the rebound. Bean will bring it up. And good hustle on the play by Angst, knocking it out of bounds. Both teams have been in close ball games. Bangor on the road with the 2-point win against Hamden. They went into overtime against Caribou, so no stranger to tight ball games. And for Brewer as well. They've had the tight one on the road at Hamden that they weren't able to hold on to. This one they're up by 11 with 3:22 to go. We do have a timeout. Our next broadcast on WBGR is coming up Thursday, part of the Interscholastic Sports Network. It's going to be a great one. What a way to ring in 2003. What better way in Central Maine than Bangor versus Brewer right here at Red Berry Gymnasium. Both teams right now unbeaten, and both teams in the top 10 in the state. So it should be a fantastic ball game. Brewer being sparked this year by transfer from Calais, Andy Frost. No slouch when he played there, and has definitely helped out the ball club, but two very, very balanced teams. Should be a terrific game. Hope you'll join us for that coming up this Thursday. Going to have a foul called on Brewer. Actually going to have a foul called on Bangor, I'm sorry, and that will put Carolyn McAvoy back to the line.
Doesn't mind heading there.
Megan McCrum called for the foul, her third. And the first one is up and good. McAvoy has been money from the line.
McAvoy's been money from all over the floor.
7 of 9 from the line. Missing that, 7 of 10 now. But again, Brewer gets the rebound. Bangor, good hustle getting on the floor. And we're going to have a travel called on the play, but great hustle nonetheless by Laura Clark. However, she moved the feet, and Brewer will keep the basketball, now leading by 12. Their biggest lead of the game with 3:14 to go into McAvoy. McAvoy powers up, no good, but there for the putback and the score. McAvoy has been the story in this game, 54-40.
McAvoy again.
And another steal for the Witches. Up the beam. Can't keep track of the scoring. She's scoring so quick. 14 points in the quarter and 30 in the game unofficially. Freeman driving in, can't get the runner in the lane to go. And the Rams lose the handle out of bounds, and they're going to say the Witches pushed it out, and we've got a player down on the floor for Brewer. Looks like it's Amy Freeman who attempted that shot in the lane. Amy Freeman now, as we said, with 30 of the 54 points. And they've come everywhere. You know, you're saying if somebody's scoring, well, let's try to break it up. She's hit a 3. She's hit him inside. And then you certainly don't want to put her on the free throw line. She's in double figures from the line.
Her free throw stat sounds like a team free throw stat.
2:46 to go. Bangor with some work to do, down by 14. Brewer looking to go above 500 at 3-2 if it holds. Clark works it down court, up to McCallion. McCallion can't get it to go. Anks with the ball, tries to put it up and is going to be fouled. And go to the line and shoot two. The foul line has not been friendly to the Rams here in the fourth. They've yet to convert 0 for 3. And this is when you want to score with the clock stopped. This is the ideal way to catch up. And it's front rim by the freshman. But again, just showing how young Bangor is. I mean, if you take a look at the floor, there are a lot of underclassmen on the floor in crunch time. A great future for the Rams. There's no way to speed up time, unfortunately, as the second one is missed. 54-40, and the Witches take over.
Speaking of catching up at this point, 2:35 to go in the game, down by 14. That's quite a tall task.
Well, especially since you haven't hit a three-pointer in the ball game. Witches with the basketball. Quimby looking to go coast to coast. Lays it up and in, 56-40. Good time for Quimby to get in the scoring column. Her first bucket of the game, and the Witches with another steal. Adam gets it over to Quimby, 3-on-2. She'll fill the lane, drive in, lay it up, and will be fouled. It's amazing the youngsters that are on the floor for each team. Quimby, a freshman. Crunch time. And that's where they say as the season continues to progress, I mean, by the time of the end of the year, you know, you're really not the freshman anymore. You're the sophomore. The sophomore is the junior. Not that that's rocket science, but there's just, unfortunately, there's just no substitute for experience. And this is a great game early in the year and a big one for Brewer on the road. McCallion checks out of the ball game for the Rams.
Big win here would definitely send a message that Brewer's back.
Well, as we talked about, the two coaches really felt in the Big East that between Presque Isle, Brewer, Bangor, and Hamden, one of those teams they really felt was going to separate themselves from the rest of the pack. And the free throw is missed, and the putback grabbed by Ashley Adams and put back in. She's got 12, and it's 58-40. Brewer by 18.
Well, one thing's for certain, Brewer's put up a good case tonight.
Another steal by Adams. McAvoy on the fly. 2-on-3. She'll wisely pull it out. Over to Harris. Harris drives in a little late. Beam was open, but she didn't get it there in time, and Angst picks it off. Gets it up to Sullivan. Sullivan throws it up, and is going to be called for the player control. And that is the third player control on the Rams in the fourth quarter. And if you look at those teams we've talked about in the Big East, Presque Isle has beaten both of these teams. So they certainly made a case early in the year. Hamden is split with the two teams, and now Brewer's picked up a key win. So, as they said, the two coaches, it's a mess right now between those four, and they expect one of those teams to stand above the rest by the end of the year. But A big statement game for the Witches on the road, and they'll run some clock. Up by 18 with a minute and a half to go. McAvoy drives in, wide open. She's got 32 points, 60-40 Brewer. Eyes are going to be opened when they pick up the paper tomorrow. The Witches are for real. Driving in, unmolested, Laura Clark. She's in double figures with 10. Bean over to Harrison. Now if you're the Witches, you just want to run some clock. Over to Adams. Adams will drive it in, have her shot blocked, and go to the free throw line to shoot 2 with 1:03 to go. What a statement ball game for the Witches. Again, I keep looking back at that Hamden game. You just think of what could have been, how good you played, and then you look in the scoreboard the next day and see it's a 16-point game. Same thing is going to be said for Bangor in this game. Remember, they led this game. If I'm not mistaken, it was 40-38. Look at the scoreboard, 40-38. I mean, you're talking a 22-4 run in the fourth quarter. So talk about a reversal of fortunes for the Witches. Having been dismantled by Hamden in the fourth, they come back and return the favor to the Rams. Sullivan, coast to coast, goes in for the layup, can't get the ball to drop, and she'll go to the line and shoot 2.
But when you open the paper tomorrow, it'll tell you Brewer's for real, but it will also tell you something we already knew. If you shut down McAvoy, you're well on your way to shutting down Brewer.
And the Rams did not do that tonight.
That's for sure.
Wow, 32 points.
Statement game for her.
Unbelievable offensive performance. She's done it, like we said, from the line, from inside, and even hit the 3.
She's dominated the second half. There's only been half a dozen points maybe from the rest of the team in the second half.
The rest of the team has hit 3 field goals for the Witches. 3 field goals for the exception away from McAvoy. So, yeah, she's definitely had a terrific second half as Sullivan is able to connect from the line. Getting 1 of 2.
But in this game, you just give it back to the hot hand.
That's exactly what you do, my friend.
McAvoy has had the hot hand tonight.
60-43 Brewer looking to run some clock. Sullivan steps in the passing lane and picks it off. Over to Curtis. Curtis looks to get it off to Clark, and travel's going to be called against the Rams with 35 seconds to go. Don't forget, Bangor Brewer, we're right back here at Redberry Gymnasium coming up Thursday to start off the new year. A boys matchup. It should be an awesome game. Hope you'll join us right here on WBGR Bangor. Angst drives in. Can't get the runner to go off the right blocks. It goes out of the bounds off the Witches. Bangor will keep the basketball with 29 seconds to go. Brewer going to improve to 3-2. Bangor will fall to 1-3. And there's the outside shot that the Rams have been missing tonight. Laura Clark with a 3. She's now got 13 points. Brewer again, as they have all night, against that press, getting the transition basket. That should be 34 points now for McAvoy. 62-46, under 10 seconds to go. Clark again. The runner's no good. She'll get her own rebound, put it up and in. And a late flurry by Clark has got her up to 15 points. But the Brewer Witches pick up their 3rd win of the season. The final is 62-48. A rundown of the final scoring in this ball game for the Bangor Rams. They're led on the night by Laura Clark. Clark with 15 points. Marissa McLeod with 11. Kelsey Curtis with 7. Alyssa Ogden with 5. 2 points for Elise Angst. And Aaron Porter, 2 points for Caroline Weymouth. And a point for Tara Sullivan. Total of 48 points. For the Brewer Witches, unofficially, we've got McAvoy for 34 points. Pumping them in so fast, I needed a calculator to keep up with her. Ashley Adams with 12 points, all on the inside. Amy Freeman with 7. Katie Quimby with 2. Stacy Beam with a point. Katie Harris with 2. And 62-48 with the score we talked about going into the fourth quarter. Obviously, it always comes down to the fundamentals, taking care of the basketball, withstanding a run. You got to figure in a rivalry like this, the teams are going to face runs. And, Chris, you got to look at this ball game. 7-point halftime lead for the Witches. Suddenly, at the end of the third quarter, it's 36-34. It's starting to slip away. Then it does slip away. You're down by 2. Home crowd is in it. And you think, it's all over for the Witches. And then all of a sudden, they explode.
Yeah, explode is the word for it. And it's got to be a great feeling for Coach Savage to see his team at 3-2. A game over 500 this late in the season. It's a welcome change for Brewer.
40-38, Bangor led this ball game. And to close it out on a 24-8 run on the road. What a statement game for the Brewer Witches.